Hi guys, how are you going? Welcome to tonight's workshop on how to use essential oils. I'm Kim, a mum of two who lives in a beautiful place called Valor, which is halfway between Sydney and Brisbane in New South Wales, Australia. And I guess I wanted to start tonight by getting you guys to introduce yourselves and tell me who you are, where you're from, and you know, because it's a like girly night, I thought that you could maybe share your secrets and tell me one thing about you that maybe nobody else knows or not many people know. So anyway, so I'm very excited. I've done lots of online workshops before, and especially online Facebook workshops, but I've never done them as a Facebook Live. So this will definitely be interesting. And I value your feedback. So hi guys, I can see some of you have already said hi. So, you know, feel free to ask questions, interact, you know, grab a pen and some paper, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit tonight. I am going to tell you some of my secrets. We're also going to be posting throughout the night into this event. So if you, you know, if you want recipes or tips or added things, check out all the posts that will be posted throughout the event. You can also check back later and you know, look up the recipes and check out the uses for the various essential oils that I will be talking about. So let's get started. I guess the first thing I want to say is that tonight's workshop is for educational purposes. So I want you to, you know, like take this information in, but I always encourage people to do their own research. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to diagnose, prescribe, or anything like that. So please don't ask me to, or ask anyone else in this workshop either. You know, it is for information, and yeah, I want you guys to have a bit of fun and yeah, and let's not get into trouble with the compliancy police. All right. What else? So why use essential oils? Basically, why not? I guess is my first answer. I started using essential oils when my eldest daughter, she's now 9, I was pregnant with her, and that was the first time I was interested, well, even really knew anything about them. I mean, I had peach oil when I was a teenager, and I used that to mask some of the stinky smells in my house, but I didn't know there was anything about quality or anything like that. I really just put them in an oil burner and burnt them, and I used to get a headache actually from them. And the reason that you get headaches from using essential oils is A, they're probably poor quality and they've been adulterated with something else, or the other reason is that when we do heat them in oil burners, and I'm sure that many of us have used oil burners, and you know, that's, you know, I'm not here to bag anyone out, because I certainly used them for years and years until I found out the truth. But basically what happens whether you use it in an oil burner or even one of those wax warmers is that the essential oils actually flash off at different rates. So what you're getting is you're getting the lighter molecules, which are responsible for smell. You're getting those first, and the heavier oils, you know, the heavier components within the oils stay there, and you breathe them in later, which is why when you put an oil in an oil burner, you'll smell it for like the first 10 or 15 minutes, but then after that you can't smell it anymore. And you're like, oh wow, I can still see it in there. You can see it floating around, but it's just those heavier molecules. And so often you'll get a headache because you're not getting the oil as Mother Nature intended. You're actually getting bits and pieces of that particular oil. And yeah, and that's, you know, you're not going to get those same therapeutic properties. So if you want to calm your kids down at night, best way to use oils is to actually inhale them. So you can literally either inhale them straight from the bottle. So, you know, this is a bottle of lavender oil. Pick it up, smell it. Yum. Or I've got going beside me, and I'll just see if I can pick it up without actually turning it off, but you may not be able to. Oh, look, I have done it without, but I'm going to show you the different colors. Maybe not going to work so well because the lights are pointed at me. You can kind of see it there on the edge, but this is our new Desert Mist diffuser. Absolutely love it. Great way to diffuse oils around your house and get you know, you can easily breathe them in because it turns it into a microfine mist. It basically has an ultrasonic plate in the bottom of it that vibrates, and that turns it into an ultrasonic mist. It mixes the water and the oil together, and you're breathing it in as a whole compound, and that's, you know, far better for you. As I say, even just sniffing an oil out of the bottle. It's kind of like, you know, I love going on winery tours. Do you guys love going on winery tours? You know, tell me if you do. And so basically, you know, like how people in posh winery tours, like they swish around the glass. That's one of the best ways to actually inhale oils, is to, you know, swish it around and get all of the aromas coming out of the bottle. Because essential oils are actually volatile liquids. And what that means is that they have constituents that are really light. And so they literally jump out of the bottle, and that's what we can smell, which is why they evaporate. If you leave the lid off your oil bottle, over time it will actually evaporate. So when we store oils, we want to make sure that we always do up the lid so that they're not jumping out of there. So I guess this brings me to, how do we use essential oils? And the very first way that we actually use essential oils is what we call aromatically, which literally means to breathe them in. So breathing them in out of the bottle or breathing them in out of the diffuser. A great oil to breathe in is lavender. Now there's many different species of lavender. You can go to Bunnings, or, you know, you've got a garden. You know, here in Valor we have the landscape supplies, and you can walk around and they'll have a whole heap of different lavenders, you know, spike lavender. Look, I'm not a horticulturalist, so I probably can't, you know, tell you all the different kinds of lavender, but you know, there are many different kinds of lavender, and they all do different things. Some of them have different constituents in them. So like lavandin is what we grow mostly here in Australia. Now it smells like true lavender, or Lavandula augustifolia, which is English lavender, but it has very different constituents. It is actually high in camphor, and camphor is you know, it's not very good for putting on skin. So if you want to apply the oil topically, then you need to actually be careful that you're using the right kind of species of lavender. Our Young Living lavender is actually called Lavandula augustifolia. And, you know, it's great for calming down your kids. I put it in the diffuser every night before the girls go to bed, you know, and then I read them a story, and by the time we're ready to, you know, go off to sleep, Bob's your uncle. So if you know any mum out there who, you know, struggles at bedtime, gift them a bottle of lavender and a diffuser, or at least a bottle of lavender, so that they can, you know, maybe wash their sheets in, or towels, or, you know, make up a roller bottle for them to roll on their kids' feet. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about applying oils, and especially about using oils with kids, in just a little while. All right, so that's the first way, is aromatically. The second way is actually topically. So a great oil to use topically is something like frankincense, because, you know, and I get this from Danae, this is Danae's wording, but she says that it's for the road maps on your face. So if you want, you know, it's girl's best friend. If you want to get rid of some of the road maps from your face, then frankincense is an absolutely awesome oil for doing that. I mix it with a carrier oil. So when I say carrier oil, I mean something like jojoba, apricot kernel, avocado, one of those kinds of oils, and then, you know, make it up into a face serum and apply it. You can, you know, always apply certain oils, not all oils, and it's always important to read the bottle, but you can actually apply them neat. And I do that a little bit around my eyes sometimes if I want, you know, a more concentrated application of an oil like frankincense or lavender. I actually like mixing the two of them together and using them in my skincare. I will add them to moisturizer. Like, I'll buy a natural moisturizer, or I often make up a you know, a base cream using some shea butter and coconut oil and vitamin E oil and various other things, and I'll melt them, and after I've melted them, I'll add the essential oils, or even better, put them in the fridge or the freezer to cool them down, and then when I'm whipping it up, I'll actually add the oils. As I say, we've got heaps and heaps of recipes that we'll post into the group tonight, so that you'll be able to, you know, pick my brains and start making some things with essential oils, because that's one of the best things about using essential oils, is actually, you know, getting in there and making some stuff. All right, third way that we can use essential oils is actually in cooking. Now, I do want to actually preface that with not all essential oils can be used in cooking. And the reality is that most essential oils, you would never, ever, ever use them in cooking. Now, it really concerns me because I see a lot of other people's posts online, and also, I have people that come to my workshops and they tell me that they've been told by other essential oil companies that you can ingest our oils. Now in Australia, we can't even use that term. So the minute someone says that to me, I say run for the hills, because they clearly don't know what they're talking about. You can use oils in cooking, so in food or in drinks as an additive, but only those that are labeled as such. Essential oils literally will destroy gut bacteria and your liver if they're not used properly, and if you're not using the right essential oils that have been designated for that particular method of use. So always read the label, and it doesn't matter what your friend told you, whose friend told them, whose friend told them that you can do this. Only do it if it says so on the label. Now in Australia, we have very, very strict food laws, and we have those for a reason, and it's to protect us. So I only use essential oils in cooking that actually are labelled as such, and that means that they meet Food Standards Australia's labelling requirements for use in cooking and food, so and drinks. So with Young Living oils, it either says it on some of the older bottles, it'll have a separate sticker on the lid, and the newer bottles, it's actually on the label. So you just peel off, and I don't know if you guys know, but there's this tiny little peel here thing, and you can actually peel it back because the bottles are so small that the writing, it doesn't all fit onto the to the back. So you can peel it back a bit, and there's a little bit more writing underneath. And so, when people say to me, how do I use essential oils? How do I use this oil? I say, have you read the label? And you'd be surprised how many people haven't actually read the label. So, pick up the bottle and read the label. It will tell you if you need to dilute it. So when I'm talking about topical use, I'm actually meaning, applying the oils topically to your skin, like in skincare. But a lot of essential oils are actually what we call hot oils, or need to be diluted in one way or another, particularly when using them with children and the elderly. So you want to make sure that you are, following the directions on the bottle. Okay, so I guess that's a little bit about how to use essential oils. I am going to talk a lot more about that in a little while. So let's talk about safety. So let's start by, I'm going to ask you a question. There are 3 places that you can't use essential oils. Does anyone want to have a guess as to where they might be? And because there's a delay, it'll probably take a little minute for you guys to answer and for me to see your responses. And I'm also keen to know what you're going to call certain parts of your body. And we're all girls here. So, although there may be some guys, and if you're a guy, then, let us know, but there's probably all girls. So your eyes, yes, that is the first place. So basically, when applying essential oils, don't get them into any mucous membrane. So you don't want to put them, into your eyes. So if you do want to put them on the road maps around your eyes, then, gently, I actually suggest using your pinky or your ring finger, and because your ring finger there's no real pressure in your ring finger, so when you're applying it, you're sort of literally just dabbing it on. And the other reason that I suggest using your ring finger is that you very rarely go to clean your eye out with that finger. You're more likely to go clean the sleep out or something like that, or if you've got something irritating on your finger with that, with your pointer finger. So if you've applied the oil with your ring finger, then you're not as likely to get essential oils into your eye. I see that a few of you guys have got it, so you must have already have done one of my workshops before. So eyes is the first one. The second one is ears. Okay, so now that's not to say that there won't be recipes out there for different ear things, and you might sit it with a cotton ball or something like that, but in general terms, we don't put essential oils into the ear. We would draw around the outside of the ear. We never drip oils into the ear cavity. It is extremely dangerous, and so I'm, a big believer in not, in using oils safely, because you don't want to be encouraging people to do the wrong thing and have a bad experience, and then they'll be turned off essential oils for life. And the third place, yes, girls, you got it, is your vagina, or, basically any part of that genital area. believe me, it's hot down there. Like, you know, literally, if you put an oil like peppermint or something like that, sometimes you might have it on your fingers and you might accidentally touch down there when wiping or inserting something or whatever. It clearly can make your eyes water. So leave that area alone down there. Now, there are plenty of recipes out there on Pinterest that will tell you that you can use oils down there. Now, I wouldn't trust Pinterest. I also don't trust Google. You know, patch test first, because you really don't want to be, you know, trying to use an oil for something and find out that it's actually going to do more damage. So as a general rule, know where there's mucous membrane. So those three areas are places that we don't go. Now, let's talk about dilution. Now, just because you can use some essential oils neat, and they will say that on the bottle, it doesn't mean that you should use essential oils neat. It means that, you know, it just depends on the application. So if I'm applying oils to my skin and I want to, you know, massage them all over my face, like something like frankincense that I was talking about before, then the best way to do it is to actually dilute it in some carrier oil. And for a number of reasons. One is that it will have better coverage all over my face or all over my belly or my thighs or my chest or wherever it is that I'm applying the oils. But the other reason is because, you know, we're all snowflakes. I may not be sensitive to frankincense oil, but you might be, or the person that you tell about the oils might be. So especially if they're new to us using essential oils, always get them to dilute and, you know, and start off really light. So like 1 drop in a tablespoon of carrier oil for, you know, for a newbie that's starting out. Now, I have different rules when it comes to using essential oils with children. Now, we'll put up a link to, because I have a separate workshop on using essential oils safely with babies and toddlers, and there's a whole heap of information on there around dilution ratios, because, you know, with babies and toddlers, I suggest making up 50 mils of carrier oil to, you know, to 1 drop for newborn babies. And as a general rule, I only use essential oils on babies if they really, really need it. It's not something I do routinely or every day. And the same goes for pregnancy. And there are essential oils that you shouldn't use on babies, and there are essential oils that you shouldn't use during pregnancy. So if you do want to learn more about that, then we'll put up a link to the to those 2 courses that I've got. They're hour-long courses that you know, it's a video that you watch online, but they'll give you much more information than I can cover in tonight's workshop. So I'm not going to go there. But as you know, as a general rule, especially with children and the elderly, always dilute. And you just don't know who's going to have a skin sensitivity to one of our oils. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk about is photosensitivity. So a lot of the citrus oils, including lemon. Has anyone used lemon on their hair, like lemon juice, when you were younger? Did you use it on your hair? And if so, what happened to your hair? I know I did. I definitely used it as a teenager. It was much cheaper than peroxide and cheaper than going to the hairdressers. But basically what it did was lighten my hair. Well, lemon oil, even though it comes from the rind of the lemon, it actually does a similar thing. It causes pigmentation to our skin. And if you put lemon oil on your skin and you go out in the sun, then you will get more burnt and yeah, and it can cause major problems and issues with your skin. So I do suggest that if you are going to use a citrus oil, and that includes bergamot, okay? So often I will have recipes for moisturizers that contain orange and bergamot, but what I say is make sure that there's enough of the base cream so that that oil is diluted. And if you are doing it, use that cream at night so that your skin has had 12 hours to actually absorb those oils. Don't put that moisturizer or those oils on your face or skin or anything and then go out in the sun. Now the same is true for blends, okay? So people say to me, oh, you know, I used Theives oil and I went out in the sun and look what happened to me, because they might have put it on their throat or whatever and they're like burn. I'm like, yeah, that's because it's got lemon oil in it. So look at the blends that contain the citrus oils as well, because they are also photosensitive, okay? So whenever we use a photosensitive oil, we make sure that we don't go out in the sun. So let's talk about lemon oil. Who loves lemon oil? I love lemon oil. I love it in cooking. I make, different, I put it in icing and cakes and muffins. I put it in frittata and quiches, any of the egg dishes. Lemon and dill oil together in egg dishes is amazing. When using oils in cooking, now I have actually a free recipe book on using essential oils in cooking. It's always good to add them to a fat before adding them to a dish. So add them to butter or oil or honey or some kind of substance, because oils and water don't mix, and the oil will float on the top of the water, so they don't disperse very well. And so if you're adding them to frittata or something, put them into the eggs or put them into the milk or cream or whatever it is that you're using. So lemon oil is great for cleaning. Oh my God, it's like my favorite oil. Even if you just want to make a simple spray cleaner, vinegar and lemon oil, amazing. Okay, as I said before, it comes from the rind, so it does have a slightly different flavor if you're using it in cooking, but it has amazing properties. I take it with me when we go on, we're gonna go and have a barbecue at the local park, and I'll literally put a couple of drops on the hot plate, and then I'll wipe it over with paper towel and then heat the hot plate up. It's amazing. So, and getting rid of sticky stuff. Caitlin, my eldest, she got some red plasticine in her beautiful blonde hair. And do you think I could get it out? No. But I put this on it and it literally dissolved it, and I just combed it out, and then, you couldn't even see the red plasticine. It was amazing. I do it with blue tack, sticky tape, anything. Jars, like if you soak jars and the label hasn't fully come off and it's got a bit of sticky stuff on it, rub it with some lemon oil. It's amazing. So anyway, I'll stop talking about lemon oil because I probably talked about that enough. Let's talk about lavender. So I've talked a little bit about lavender and calming you down, but it's so good for skin. Okay, great for skin, great for calming you down. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys love lavender? It's my Swiss Army knife. If I had one essential oil that I went to a deserted island with, I'd take this, because this is my go-to oil. This is the first one I try whenever I'm, wanting to know what oil I can use for something. Usually lavender's on the list. So anyway, that's lavender. Another oil that I use for cooking is peppermint. Peppermint peps me up. That's how I remember it. It's it's an amazing oil, peppermint. And I literally, apply it, if I'm feeling a little bit tired in the afternoon, I put a little bit on the back of my neck, on my temples, not too close to your eyes because it's quite strong, and it, can make your eyes water. If it's a really hot day, some of you probably know that I like to go to festivals and things, and I dance around, and it's really hot in those tents. And so often, there's all these sweaty bodies and things like that. I get out the peppermint oil, put a little bit on the inside of my arms, back of my neck, back of my knees. It cools you down like nothing else. Plus you smell amazing, and all the other sweaty people want some. So, peppermint, it's an amazing oil. All right. Before I talk about any other oils, I'm going to talk about why you would want to use essential oils, okay? Now, whenever I think about why people should use essential oils, I think about why I do. And the main reason that I use essential oils is basically because of my two girls. When I was pregnant with Caitlin, I wanted to get rid of all of the chemicals out of our home. I actually talk about being a mumzilla, okay? And I say, well, I literally went through my bathroom cabinets, my laundry cabinets, under the kitchen sink, everywhere, and I got rid of everything. And my husband said to me, well, what are we going to use to clean with? And I said, I don't know, water? Like, I just, I was crazy. I was like, I don't want to have to put those little child safety locks on anything. I want to get rid of all of those chemicals. And for years and years, especially as a teenager, I suffered really badly with eczema. I used to get on the top of my eyelids. I used to get on the back of my neck, and particularly in my arms. And whenever I'd wash up, I would get it in between my fingers. And I slowly started to learn about the chemicals that were in products. And one of the main chemicals that I am sensitive to is actually called sodium lauryl sulfate, or sodium lauryl sulfate. You'll see it on some products. it was a major skin irritant for me, and it is for a lot of other people. It is in shampoos, it is in conditioners, it is in anything that basically foams up, dishwashing liquid, laundry powder. So you know what was happening was that I was washing my hair and washing my face, and literally the shampoo and the face wash and all that kind of stuff was obviously running down my face and was causing me to get this major dry skin, you know, on my eyelids, and also because of the chemical that was in the shampoos, I was getting it on the back of my neck because I wasn't, you know, washing my, you know, all of the shampoo wasn't, you know, exiting my skin, and then I was also getting it in other places like my inner parts of my elbow and things like that. And I found out that as soon as I started eliminating products that had this sodium lauryl sulfate in it, you know what? My eczema went away. It was that simple for me. Now, obviously other people need to look at gut health, and often your liver plays a huge part in whether you know, get something like eczema or psoriasis, because our skin is actually kind of like the engine lights of our car. They're our warning system. It's about, if something is happening on your skin, it is often telling you that there's something underlying happening in your body that you need to address. And for me, it was the chemical buildup and the sensitization that I was getting from the sodium lauryl sulfate. The other thing that these sodium lauryl sulfate does is it actually can cause urinary tract infections, and it's in bubble bath, and we put it in our kids' bubble bath all the time, and we sit them in the bath in this stuff. I mean, like, you can't get more, you know, crazy than that, but we don't know what we don't know, and we probably have all done that at some point in our lives. Another product that is in a lot of things is propylene glycol. When I had Caitlin, well, both my girls, I used cloth nappies, but especially when I had Caitlin, I was traveling a lot, and so we needed to go away, and I would buy these compostable nappies, and the only parts of them that weren't compostable were the little plastic tabs where they did up. The rest of it was all broke down and biodegradable. And when I went in to try and get some you know, natural wipes, I couldn't find any that didn't have pegs or propylene glycol in it. It was amazing. And so I started making my own, and I literally just made them from paper towel and some natural body wash and some essential oils, and they were that simple. And they were the products that I started, the first products that I made. And the reason was because I didn't want my babies to have to go through this same skin problems that I had gone through. I wanted to try and eliminate all of those chemicals so that they didn't grow up having, you know, those same health challenges that I had. So I guess for me, switching to natural alternatives just made sense. Being able to make my own products, being able to, you know, buy stuff from a company that had already done all the research. As a busy mum, we don't often have time to read all the labels. Yes, I've got the Think Dirty app and the Environmental Working Group's Healthy Living app. I've got all those apps on my phone, but often I'm running down to the supermarket, and who's got time to look at this stuff? I would much rather buy products that I know have already been, you know, researched and approved, and they haven't got any of this harmful stuff in it. And you know, the other thing is that a lot of these products contain phthalates and parabens, which are major endocrine disruptors. They are impacting on our hormones. Why do you think so many young girls are actually developing at such a young age? And it is because they're exposed to all of these harmful chemicals that are endocrine disruptors. It's really scary stuff. So I don't want, you know, myself or my girls to be exposed to those kinds of products. So I would much rather use essential oils and natural alternatives. It's funny because a lot of people say to me, aren't essential oils just hippy dippy? Like, you know, aren't they just new agey? And I say, no way. Now, yes, essential oils are technically steam distilled. So when we read that essential oils have been around since the time of the Bible, that's not technically true. Okay, because we couldn't, the true name essential oil means that it's been steam distilled. So they cook all the plant material up in a big cooker, the steam rises, it falls, it goes in, like it cools down in a condenser, goes into a vat, the oil and the water separate, they scoop off the oil from the top and they put it in a bottle, and they sell it to us, okay? Now that's the true meaning of the word essential oil. Now we basically couldn't steam distill things until Avancina developed the refrigerated coil. So prior to that, people just used plant botanicals, okay? So basically what they did was they got the oils and by extracting them through different purposes, so it may have been cold pressed, which is how we get orange and lemon oil from the rinds anyway. They might have macerated the material and used that. They might have added the plant material, like Cleopatra actually used to add her plant material such as frankincense resin and things like that to hippopotamus fat. I know that sounds really funny, but that's what she did. She used to add it to hippopotamus fat and she would rub it on as a you know, as a perfume or on her skin. She used to use the coal, like the sort of, you know, the coal pencil sort of eye black stuff used to come from the burnt frankincense resin as well. So, you know, she did use these plant botanicals, and people like, you know, Tutankhamun had frankincense and myrrh in his, like, well, the alabaster jars that would have contained those. They found traces of those particular oils in his tomb. We know that it was, you know, that frankincense and myrrh were given to baby Jesus in the Bible. There's Romans who used essential oils, well, plant botanicals, if you want to use the proper term, in their Roman baths. Chinese and Indian traditional cultures have been using essential oils for thousands of years as well in their meditation and their spiritual practices. It's one of the best ways that I love to use frankincense. I talked before about frankincense being amazing for the road maps on our face. And I can see that Danae's watching, so, you know, as I said before, Danae gave me that little hint. But frankincense, it's amazing spiritual oil. I use it for meditation and yoga. I literally, before I go to yoga, I'll put one drop on my hand, clasp it over my nose and breathe it in. I like to energize oils when I use them, so I put a drop in my hand 3 times around and breathe it in. Or I put a drop on my, you know, heart chakra, or even on my third eye or crown chakra, or I'll rub the oil through my aura. Frankincense is a really protective oil, so if you've got a lot of negative energy around you, getting a couple of drops of frankincense and actually rubbing them through your aura, or brushing them, if you like, through your aura, can help you to protect you from some of that negative energy. So anyway, that's a little hint about frankincense oil. So yes, they have been used for all kinds of purposes for a very, very long time. One of the favorite ways that I like to use them is cleaning. I've actually just released a free cleaning ebook. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Naturally Green Cleaning. And if you'd like a copy, we're going to post a link in the event tonight to get that. It's basically 45 pages of my favorite cleaning recipes. Everything from spray cleaners, laundry powder, dishwasher powder, all of those things. I love to share my recipes. And if you read the story in the beginning of the book, you'll actually find out that I got that, you know, I got a lot of my ideas about sharing recipes from my grandma, who was a big sharer. So let's talk a little bit about a few more of my favorite oils. Now, there is a difference between a single oil and a blend, okay? So a lot of the oils that I've already talked about are what we call single oils. Single oils mean that it comes from one plant species. So lavender is a single oil because it comes from Lavender ligustifolia. That's the botanical name for that particular plant. That's all that's in that bottle. That one particular oil is the only thing that's in there. Peppermint, lemon, frankincense, they are all single oils. They just come from the one plant. Now, the other single oil that I'm going to talk about tonight is an oil called copaiba. Okay, now that's probably hard to really, remember, but copaiba, it comes from South America. It's basically a jungle plant. Now, it is technically a copal, or basically it's like maple syrup. I don't know whether you've ever seen maple syrup be tapped from a tree where they drill a hole in and it runs out. Well, that's how they get copaiba, okay? Literally, they tap it from a tree. It's such an amazing oil to add to other oils. I add it to Panaway for muscle rubs. I add it to lavender and frankincense for skin. I add it to a lot of my products. It really doesn't have that much of a smell, so it's not really a great oil for your diffuser, but it's definitely a great oil to apply topically, and it's really quite mild, so I use it for a lot of things. So anyway, there's Copaiba. Okay, now let's talk about blends. Now technically, and I'm a big one for technically, because I hate for people to Google things or to comment later on the group and say, she didn't know what she was talking about because she said that this was a blend. Okay, so in the world of aromatherapy, a blend is where you add the single oils to a carrier oil, okay? A synergy is where you blend different essential oils to make well, a synergy, like they're synergistically created. Now, I often get asked by people, well, why would I buy blends? I could just buy the single oils and create my own blends. And I say, well, you could, but the thing is, when Gary Young produces these synergies, or what we call loosely blends, he does them in such a way that, you know, you'd probably never be able to recreate them exactly right. You've got no idea whether there's 5 drops or, like, you know, take for example Panaway, whether there's 5 drops of helichrysum, 3 of clove, 2 of peppermint and 1 of wintergreen. You don't know what the right ratio is. They are so synergistically created for the particular purpose that Gary intended them for, that you want to make sure that, you know, you can try to create them. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's definitely, you know, quite a synergistic process. So technically, if they're all single oils merged together, blended together, it's what we call a synergy. But if they're added to a carrier oil, then it's what we call a blend. Now, we do sell like blends as well. So some of our blends contain like sesame oil, some of them contain coconut oil, and technically they are blends. Now, we just loosely in Young Living call everything a blend, okay? Now, I'm going off on a tangent, and it wasn't on my script, although I'm not really following the script, and so if you're trying to follow along on the post, then, you know, you've probably got Buckley's chance. But anyway, let's talk about Panaway. Panaway is amazing. If you go to the gym, if you walk, if you swim, if you do any form of exercise, this is your go-to oil. This is your friend. This needs to be in your gym bag. It needs to be in your handbag. I always say it smells like the guy's locker room, and people say, how do you know what the guy's locker room smells like? And then one day at a workshop I said that, and some lady said to me, oh, what, it smells like smelly socks and undies? And I'm like, no, it doesn't smell like that. I'm just gonna, sorry, swipe off one of the messages on the top of my phone. Okay, so Panaway is a blend. It contains wintergreen, peppermint, helichrysum and clove, all right? Absolutely, you know, it has that sort of, you know, that sports gel kind of smell to it, but this is natural. It contains natural wintergreen. A lot of those sports gels are synthetic, okay? So when we're putting them on our body, they're actually not in alignment with our natural self, okay? So why would you use something synthetic when you can use something that is even more amazing and totally natural? So to make your own sports gels, you can literally get some aloe vera and add Panaway to it, or even simpler, just get some coconut oil and add Panaway to it. Enhance it with a little bit of Copaiba, or even put in a couple of extra drops of peppermint. It makes a great muscle rub. If you want to give, you know, Dad a Father's Day present or a Christmas present or something, make him up a muscle rub. I pop a roller on the top of this. I'm just going to show you. Young Living is amazing. They really are the world leader in essential oils. They patent the most amazing products, and one of the products that they have is a roller top. And I'm going to show you just quickly how simple it is to apply it. So you take out the drip stopper. And the reason that we have drip stoppers in the top of our bottles is A, to help you get the right number of drops out, but also it stops little kids being able to pick up the oil and easily drink the whole bottle, okay? So make sure that, you know, that you leave those drip stoppers in the bottle unless you're doing something like this. All right, so you literally place the roller bottle in the top, screw it on, and Bob's your uncle, there it is. And you just roll it on. So, you know, if you've got a bit of neck tension happening after a, you know, exercise or after work, looking at the computer all day, roll it on. It's amazing. Panaway, all right, with the roller. You can switch it over as well. It's just as easy to get out. You literally use the lid, push it sideways, and out it pops. Okay, that's how simple it is. So if you want to put it on Stress Away or Digize and rub on your belly after a meal, go for it. They're great. You know, you can swap it over. So just mentioned Digize. Digize is my travel buddy. I don't go to any Asian country or, you know, or eat curry or go out to dinner or anything like that without my buddy Digize, okay? Often after I've eaten, like last night we went out to Chinese and I come back here, lay down, yeah, okay, get out the Digize. Oops, you can't really see, I haven't got it the right way. So anyway, so that's Digize. Absolutely love Digize. It's got all your digestion type oils like fennel and anise, caraway, peppermint, that kind of stuff in it. I mentioned Stress Away. Stress Away, well, the name says it all, okay? It's mum's best friend. I literally wear it as a perfume. I roll it on. See, I've got a roller bottle in mine permanently. Even just carrying it around makes me feel better. So if I'm going out to the shops with the girls and I know that they're, you know, had a big day, then I apply Stress Away, I even rub it on them, put it on their feet, all of that kind of stuff. All right, what else have we got? We've got Purification. Purification, as it says, purifies the air. It has citronella and lemongrass and tea tree. It makes a great outdoor spray or annoyance-free spray, whatever you want to call it. I mix it up with some citronella and some peppermint. Now, when you're using essential oils with babies and toddlers, as if you watch my babies and toddlers workshop, you'll see, I don't use eucalyptus or peppermint on babies or toddlers under 2. Now, you will read online that some people recommend up to 6. I do follow Robert Tisserand and his practices, and more recently he's been saying up to 3. But as a general rule, I say under 2s. I don't use peppermint and eucalyptus, and I'm just cautious with over 2s. And I don't use the blends that contain that either. But so I have a different recipe for my annoyance spray or great outdoor spray for children under, 2. But for everyone else, I use this. I use Purification, citronella and peppermint. It makes an amazing spray. I add it to witch hazel. I mentioned before that oil and water don't mix and the oil literally floats on the top. The same thing happens when you make up spray. So if you're making up a toilet spray or a face spray or anything like that, you want to use some kind of solubilizer. And a solubilizer is just something that we add to the oil and water to make it disperse and mix in. So when I'm making the great outdoors spray, I add in witch hazel. Okay, so witch hazel just helps to disperse it a little better. Now, when I'm adding oils to bath water, the best things to add oils to bath water is a natural Castile liquid soap. It will help it to disperse evenly throughout the bath water, even aloe vera gel or an oil. Now, yes, occasionally I'll make bath salts or bath bombs and things like that and add it in, but I do just want to mention that it doesn't disperse it quite as well as a fat, because essential oils are technically fat soluble, which means that they dissolve in fat, not in water. So the best way to actually disperse them is in a fat. So that's why a pure soap like a Castile liquid soap or even aloe vera, anything like that, will actually disperse it better throughout your bath water than bicarb soda or anyway. So that's Purification. One of the recipes that I'm posting tonight is for my deodorant recipe. You can use any essential oil, well, obviously Young Living, and I'm going to talk about why Young Living in a minute, but Purification makes, especially for guys, because they don't like the smelly, girly smells for their deodorant, and Purification's quite fresh. But I will mention that some people do get, a skin irritation from it. Now, it's not always because of the essential oil. Sometimes it's because of the essential oil is actually reacting with chemicals that you may have under your arms and in your skin. So anyway, so that's Purification. The next oil I want to talk about is RC. RC is my go-to winter oil. I can't get through winter without this baby. It's in the diffuser most nights in my girl's bedroom, and even in mine. I'll diffuse it throughout the house. I make my own chest rub. I talked before about one of the main reasons I use essential oils is to eliminate some of the harmful chemicals that are in a lot of our products these days. And one of my favorite oils is actually RC. In winter, not only can I put it in the diffuser, but I make a chest rub. I literally get a jar, 50 grams, fill it up with, and if you make it in summer, the coconut oil will be liquid, but if you make it in winter, it'll set. And I literally put the coconut oil into the jar, Now, once again, I have a different recipe for babies and toddlers and for kids, but you know, for anyone over 6, I do 12 drops of RC, 12 drops of lemon oil, and 12 drops of peppermint. So, you know, they're 3 of the oils that I've talked about tonight, and literally you're not getting that petroleum jelly that most vapor rubs or chest rubs are based on. You're getting natural coconut oil and pure essential oils. You're not getting synthetic stuff that you're putting all over your baby's, well, not, you know, obviously I just said that we wouldn't use these particular oils, and I have a different recipe for babies, which uses frankincense, lavender, and lemon, and far less drops. Now that may seem like a lot of drops, the 12 that I talked about before of each of those, but that's in 50 grams of coconut oil. And when you apply it to your chest, you're literally going to use, you know, like less than a teaspoon every time you are applying it to your chest. So you're not getting that much oil applied to your body or skin every time that you're using it. Anyway, that's RC. Get some of that into you. The next oil I want to talk about is Theives. I love Theives. It's chai in a bottle. Now the story behind Theives, I can't even get it out of the container. Maybe I'll just leave it in there and I'll show it to you like that. But Theives, the story behind it was that there were some spice traders and the ports were closed in France because of a plague. Now, there's something like 17 different versions of this story, and Gary Young at the time when he created this oil, the reason he even learned about it was because he was visiting a museum over in France when he was distilling lavender oil in Provence, and he saw this recipe for 4 Thieves vinegar. And he started researching it, and he said that he found something like 17 different versions of the blend. So who knows what the real blend contained and things like that. But we do know that it was aromatic spices such as clove and rosemary and lemon and cinnamon. And so what Gary did was he researched all of those things and put together a blend. Now, he also included eucalyptus in it. Now, because we come from Australia, we all know how awesome is eucalyptus. It's absolutely amazing for so many different things. So Gary included eucalyptus in it. So it's a blend of 5, cinnamon and clove. That's why it smells like chai. Rosemary, eucalyptus, and lemon. Okay, great for cleaning. There's a Theives Cleaner that is so cheap. It's literally 77 cents if you buy the 1.8 litre bottle of it, or if you buy the 426 ml bottle, it works out about 94 cents for a 300 ml spray bottle. Like, you can't get much cheaper than that. It's so cheap. And yeah, I love, you know, cleaning my benches, my shower. You can basically eliminate nearly every single cleaner in your house by using Theives Cleaner. I even make my own oven cleaner using bicarb soda and Theives Cleaner. Like, there isn't anything that this baby can't do. It's such an amazing product, and it's so cheap. You can make 42 spray bottles out of it. Anyway, get the free cleaning guide and you'll see all the different ways that I use the Theives Cleaner and how cheap and economical it can be in your home. All right, now, oils ain't oils. They really aren't. It's not just a saying, John Laws. This is a true fact, okay? When it comes to quality, it really does matter. You can't just go down to the local, you know, shop and buy essential oils and think that they're going to do some of the things that I've talked about tonight, okay? Quality really does matter. And often people will smell my oils on me or at my house or in my diffuser, and they'll say, oh my God, that lavender, that smells the closest to any lavender plant I've ever smelt before. I thought this other lavender was good until I smelt yours. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. It is so amazing. And they're such good quality. It's because Young Living has what we call the seed to seal standard. Now, for me, it's like baking a cake, okay? Now, when it's my child's birthday, Tegan or Caitlin, I could go down to the shops and I could buy a birthday cake, right? I could go to Woolworths and there's lots in the shop. They're brightly coloured, you know, pink and blue, and, you know, usually got, you know, Disney characters or whatever on the top of them. I could buy one of those. Now, I don't know what all the ingredients are. I mean, how do they get that brightly coloured stuff anyway? And I don't know how fresh the ingredients are, how much sugar's in it, how bad it is for you. I've got no idea. And often they don't have to list all the ingredients. I mean, they do in food, but definitely not in our products that we put on our skin. So who knows what's in there? So, you know, we could do that. We could go to a more specialty shop, okay, that specializes in cakes, or in our cases might specialize in natural stuff. But you may not get someone working in that shop who knows everything about, you know, essential oils, or and the reality is that even essential oils that are sold in health food shops aren't necessarily distilled or grown in the best possible way. And have they been tested to make sure that they've got all of the constituents in there? It's the same as buying the cake. Whereas if I make the cake myself at home with eggs that I know when I bought, and flour and all of the, you know, ingredients, and best of all, I made it with love, then I know that that cake's going to be the best possible cake that I can give to my kids. And that's true for essential oils. Young Living actually own their own farms. Now, these days they've grown so big that a lot of their oils can't be produced on their farms, but it's about something like 30% of their oils are produced on their own farms, okay? And so those oils are planted, they're cultivated and grown in such a way that is above organic. I've been to their French lavender farm. I've been to 3 of their farms in the USA. I've been to their farm here in Darwin. You know, like you can see the whole process. They're so transparent. Their doors are open. They're like, come on in, have a look at what we do. Because they, you know, they can't go to every single country that they grow essential oils in, and every single country that they sell essential oils in, and meet all of their organic and certified and blah 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 status, not to mention the cost that's associated with getting all of those permits. They would rather be totally transparent and ethical and say, come on in, have a look at what we do. And that's exactly what I've done. And I can personally, hand on my heart, say that I believe these are the best quality essential oils that are out there on the market. And I've tried a lot over the years. So, and even the testing, like there's something like, I think by the time you get the bottle, it's had like 90 tests or something, because each oil gets tested 15 different ways, 3 times before it's, you know, before anything happens to it. And then when they're bottling it, they test it another 30 times or 45 or whatever. I'm more hopeless at maths, so don't, you know. But you can go on the Seed to Seal website and you can find out all of this information. You don't have to trust me. Go and do your own research and find out for yourself. Or better still, go and visit one of their farms. Anyway, I obviously tonight am talking about how to use essential oils, but I really couldn't do an essential oil class without talking about one of Young Living's signature products, and that is Ninja Red. Okay, now a lot of people get their kits and they say to me, do I rub that stuff on my skin? I say, no, don't rub it on your skin. Put it in the fridge. This is a superfood in a little container. You can also get in a bottle. These are just sample packets. I love to throw these in my handbag for that 3 p.m. slump. But I drink this every day. It's basically a goji berry puree. Okay, so 25% of this is made up of goji berries. Now, Young Living call it wolfberries because they you know, had it before, you know, they've been using this product, the wolfberries or goji berries, for many years. And I believe that the translation from Chinese to Australian, well, to English means wolf. But anyway, it's literally goji berries plus other high antioxidant fruits. Now, it's not a juice, okay? I don't give my kids juice because I believe that juice is too high in sugar and it doesn't have the fiber that the body needs to assimilate that sugar. This is a puree. That's why when you get the bottles, the puree is sunk to the bottom, okay? It's so thick, it's sunk to the bottom. So you know, you have to shake it up, and that's because it's a puree. So I add it to a little bit of water and drink it every day. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this today is that, do you know what? Young Living actually enhance all of their supplements with essential oils because it actually helps the body to assimilate the nutrients that are in the products. Plus it makes them taste great. I mean, this has got tangerine, yuzu, like it's got a lot of citrus oils in it and it makes it taste great. But I absolutely love it. If you're a mum and you're low on energy, even if you're not a mum and you're low on energy, you need this. This is my secret weapon. People want to know, how do I do everything that I do? This, why aren't you on it? This is your new best friend, okay? If you do nothing else, you do this, okay? And energy oil, actually. This and energy oil, they're my 2 secrets. It's out of the bag now. Anyway, so you're probably wondering by now, how do I get started? Okay, Now, the best way to get started using Young Living essential oils is to actually get your own account, okay? Now, I don't sell oils. I'm not going to sell you a lavender oil or a Thieves oil or anything like that. I want you to get your own account, okay? Now, I want you to go back to the person who told you about tonight's workshop and ask them for their member number. Okay, now if that was me, ask me and I'll post a link in this event to my member number. But I want you to go back to the person who told you about this event because they obviously cared about you and they love you and they want you to get these products into your hands and so that you can get rid of the toxins out of your life. So go back to them, talk to them and find out their member number. They can probably send you a link to get started, okay? Now, Young Living have a range of different starter kits. They have premium starter kits. Now, I honestly think that's the best value for money. When I first started out, I thought, far out, those kits are a bit expensive. But then when I added up all of the cost, I realized, no, they're not. By the time you take this, you know, I showed you before the Desert Mist Diffuser. I'll show you again in case you've joined us since. The Desert Mist Diffuser sells wholesale for $105. I think retail, it's like $135, okay? Now, the Desert Mist Diffuser Premium Starter Kit, by the time you take that off the price, say you take off the $105, and divide it by the 11 essential oils that I've talked about tonight, which is how many you get in the premium starter kit, it actually works out at less than $14 a bottle, okay? Now you couldn't go to a shop, even a good health food shop and buy good quality essential oils for that price, okay? Now these are the Rolls Royce, these are top of the line. I have no qualms in telling you that Young Living is the world leader in essential oils. I used to have difficulty saying that because I thought, according to who said, you know, but I know I've tried lots of oils and I've been to, you know, their farms and seen their whole processes. And I believe that these oils, for the price that you get them in the premium starter kit, is the best way to start, okay? Now, yes, you'll go on the website and you'll see that there's a basic starter kit and a basic culinary kit. If you're serious about this, don't waste your money. Nearly every single person I have ever sold a basic starter kit to, within the first 3 months, have upgraded to the premium starter kit, okay? Because it's such good value. I mean, today I was asked about the cost of the Healthy Homes kit and haven't I ever broken down the price of it. Now, I added up just the wholesale value of the Healthy Homes kit. So I haven't really talked about the Healthy Homes kit tonight because I have a separate workshop on that particular kit. But it's about getting rid of the chemicals out of your life. So if you maybe don't want to yet start your essential oil journey, but you definitely want to go natural and green and get rid of the chemicals out of your life, then go with the Healthy Homes Premium Starter Kit. Now, I added up the value of that today, and even at wholesale, it's over $400 worth that you're getting for $289. You're saving like $120 right off the bat. And, you know, not to mention the fact that you get a wholesale account for free with any of these premium starter kits. So that means that for every other oil or every other product, shampoo, conditioner, the Ninja Red, any of their supplements, any other oils that you want to get, you're going to save 24% off the retail price. Now, that just makes good sense. We all want to save money, don't we? So why wouldn't you get started with the premium starter kit? As I say, go back, talk to the person who told you about tonight's workshop, get them to hook you up. You'll join our team, you'll get heaps and heaps of information and education. I am an absolute advocate for teaching people how to use these products. There's no use spending this kind of money and it's sitting on your shelf. You can replace so many products in your house with this simple kit, okay? When you get started, we send you a welcome booklet, we send you another booklet, which is 250 ways to use essential oils. There's an endless supply of education and support. And best of all, we're a family. You join our tribe and, you know, there's nothing better than being part of a community of like-minded people, having fun, helping people, and best of all, there's all the travel perks. I love this company. I love that I can run workshops like this from here at home. And I don't know whether throughout this workshop you've been able to hear my girls upstairs. They've got having a sleepover with some of their friends tonight. And you know, what other business can you do right here on your lounge? get to travel the world, earn amazing income, hang out with some really cool people, and go natural and chemical free. I mean, I couldn't think of anything better that I'd rather be doing. And if you want to get your oils for free, then why not host your own oily party? Now, whether that's in your home with a couple of friends, or even host an online one like this tonight, where we can, you know, give you all the images and the graphics, that's the same thing, give you all the script for an online workshop, and we help you set it up. We do the work for you. If that's your thing and you want to get your oils paid for, at least get a few oils for free, we offer amazing hostess gifts. So get in contact with us and we can arrange to do an online workshop for you. Anyway, I hope you've learnt heaps tonight. I've loved bringing you all of this information. Remember, there'll be lots and lots of posts in this group with recipes and tips and other things that I have forgotten to mention because, you know, obviously I can't think of everything. If you have questions, either feel free to message me on my Facebook page, The Hot Oily Mama, or post a link in this group. Remember to keep it compliant, so try to make it about education and wellness and not about disease or illness. And anyway, look out on our website for upcoming events. We're going to do a couple coming up, including our Healthy Homes kit, and we're looking at doing the hormone stress and sleep one. So yeah, keep an eye out on there, and I will catch you soon. Thanks guys, and good night.